They talk about eating banana pie, and there's one kid that's staring off into space like he didn't get his.
He was part of the cube that got dropped a couple times.
All right. Well, welcome to Spin Dash, your 19th favorite retro gaming podcast. On this month's episode, we are brought to you by Cola. Just Cola. We'll explain that later. With me this evening are my less than esteemed adventurers, Matt and Nick.
Wait,
hi.
Is it like Tell 'em Steve Dave? Wait a minute.
It's very random. Oh, and so we also have a new name, or an alternate name, of Spindrift Podcast, because my sleepy wife thought that was the name because she's been drinking a lot of seltzer lately.
Has she?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that.
Spindrift Seltzer, man. Yeah, it's pretty good.
What I have in front of me tonight, the drink that I brought John, and because we've been talking about this an awful lot lately, so I'm going to crack open a White Claw.
What?
Nice. All right,
Ain't no laws when you're drinking claws.
Cheers to that.
Oh,
Nick,
my
what about
word.
you?
Oh, I'm going all American with a Samuel Adams Boston Lager.
You have a southern accent for a Boston beer?
Yep.
I always like Nick's beer comments because, he always has an accent of where he thinks the beer is from.
I think Nick can't say PBR without ending it in bub.
PBR bub.
It's true. It's the Mainer in him.
Yeah, happens sometimes.
I have a Bissell Brothers Lux.
Ooh,
Pretty decent.
What is that?
Yeah, it's a rye ale.
Ooh,
One of their
tasty.
One of their staples. So pretty good. And I also have a side bottle of Crown Royal for our fun activity this week.
Well, I got nothing to shoot
You didn't
with.
tell us to bring hard shit.
No. You brought it last week, so I'll bring it this week.
Oh, okay.
I am the glutton.
Wait a minute. That means I'm next week.
This week.
I like this.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So let's get into it. Matt, what did you pick up this month?
So here's the thing. At the time of recording this, we're still, we're getting past all the fun of Rona. We've just, there's a lot going on, and I felt the need to buy some stuff. I don't know what took me over. I went big.
People should also know if you went big, and you are a stingy bastard too.
No, hold on. So I bought a Dreamcast.
Hey,
Where you get it?
Controller, and then it comes with a VMU. And then I said, well, it's kind of like like the if you give a mouse a cookie type thing.
Oh god.
Like, okay, if you buy a Dreamcast, okay, well then you're gonna find out that the discs that I want are expensive as fuck. I'm like, all right, fine. The disk drives go on them pretty easily, so I will get one of those GDMUs. So I bought a GDMU to slap in this thing. And then I'm like, well, then you just have to tape it to the inside and it looks like shit. So I'm like, well, okay, I got to buy a tray to put in this thing. And then I bought another thing so I could fix the power unit in it. So yeah, it's a money suck. I want to play Skies of Arcadia, and I don't want to pay $70 for it on GameCube. So this was my solution.
So how much have you paid for the Dream? Are you paying for the Dreamcast? Everything said and done.
I don't know.
So you're now. Let me get this right. It sounds like you've probably put more into this new console than you would have been buying Stars of Arcadia.
Yeah, but I get more out of it. I want to play Jet Grind Radio.
Yeah, you get the whole library.
Yeah, I get the whole library. I mean, I have to pick up my pirate hat again. Back, sailing the seas of piracy again.
Yarr.
But, I'm excited for it. I never really got to do a whole lot with the Dreamcast. I played it in the stores, but that's about it. I mean, I didn't have a friend that had one, so.
I think that's like a one system I actually really didn't own. No, I did own one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I had one. It's a good time. What about you, Nick? Yeah.
What about you? Did I talk about a Switch Lite last time?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I also bought a game for it as well. I ended up buying Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. So pretty
Sounds
much
like you.
Yeah, pretty much what it is actually. It's a.
We should have added cricket sounds to that.
You can probably do it, aren't you, bastard? It's actually really good. It's pretty much the first game. So Pokemon Red and Blue, if you're familiar with them, obviously the ones we grew up with, they just tweaked it. So the good thing is none of your Pokemon actually have to learn HMs, so you don't have to have an HM slave to play through the whole game. They added some features that came in with other games. So when you battle Pokemon, all your Pokemon in your party automatically level up, so you don't have to grind as much to level up your Pokemon. Something they did and they took from Pokemon Go, the mobile app game, is they allowed you to, so you don't actually battle Pokemon to weaken them to catch them. You actually just catch them just like you would on Pokemon Go.
So, John, when are you getting this game so you could play with Nick?
TBD. Likely never. I almost said something when he said it's pretty much the same as Red and Blue. It's like, no shit. That's every Pokemon. There's like 20 of them.
It's not,
and it's the same damn game. One of our lost levels was a Pokemon game that I definitely just said fuck it after like 10 hours. Because it's a 50-hour game and I didn't have time for that.
I think that's what broke the podcast. Like, it wasn't all the shit going on in our life. It's the fact that Nick made us play Pokemon.
Nick torpedoed it.
Oh, yes.
Sabotage.
Torpedo you.
Yeah. Speaking of torpedoes, I got a whopping nothing since last time. Yeah, no pickups.
Responsible.
Yeah, I threw some interest out to some marketplace listings, but nothing took, so I'm sitting here empty-handed.
I've had one experience with the marketplace, and it was kind of a big, like that, like flaky. I don't know. I had best luck on eBay.
Yeah.
I think I pay a little bit more, but I don't have to dick around with people.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had some odd exchanges. You just drive up to somebody's house and you like wait around and say, hey, I think I'm here. And then it's like, oh, okay. Guy comes out, hands you the thing, you give him the money. Feels a little sketchy.
And then you wake up in his basement, like in the bottom of a pit, putting lotion on your skin.
Yeah.
There's a pretty good video out there where a guy's explaining Facebook Marketplace. So he puts a speaker on the table, says Facebook, and it has a sign next to Facebook Marketplace. Guy walks into the door. He's like, is it available? The guy's like, yes, it is. Then the guy walks out, not responding to his sale. That's pretty much Facebook Marketplace.
There was a while, and I don't know what caused it, but I could not access the marketplace on my phone. Like Android, my account would not allow me in the marketplace, and like everyone around me had it. So I got pissed about that, and every day I submitted a ticket to Facebook. Every day. I'm like, yep, can't get into marketplace. Next day, can't get into marketplace. So I finally get the marketplace. I'm like, this kind of sucks. And then I moved on.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little underwhelming. Every now and then you'll see a gem, or something free that's convenient. But yeah.
I'm sad that my transfer station doesn't allow anyone to drop off anything anymore.
All your best finds are at the dump.
I made close to $150 off that free stuff out there.
It's impressive, man.
Rummaging through the dump.
No, someone,
put a little elbow grease in, bam.
What?
It's like It's Always Sunny. He's going to fill his house up with stuff he steals from the dump. You can't get rid of this.
Yeah. No, it was. I had Xbox One I sold for $20, wasn't working. And then I sold a OG Xbox with controller and everything for $50. And then I got it to work.
I like that the Xbox sold for more than the Xbox One.
Oh, the Xbox was actually working.
Yeah.
Did it read a disc? Like, did it?
Xbox, yeah.
Oh, you fucker. That's why I ran into problems on mine.
Yeah.
Like, it just won't
The only thing that sucked about it was the door jammed. And the person bought it off me was going to turn it into an MU station, so...
That's what I want to do. So that's an easy fix. Like, it's so easy to fix that disc tray. Like, it's just a quick elastic band and it's easy to swap out. But the getting it to read, like, those disc drives just suck.
The optical eye kind of craps out.
Yep. Yep.
Well, speaking of optical, I saw an interesting thing on actually Facebook as well, a video where a guy fully restores a PS1. Like, it was grimy as all hell. It was very dingy yellow. Had gunk everywhere, and the guy takes it fully apart, and he gets it back to the original color by putting in some solution with like a violet, like a ultraviolet light or something.
Oh, you retro-brighted it.
Got it back to its original color, fixed it up, cleaned up everything, and it looked brand new.
Not bad. I've been hunting for some stringent cleaning supplies, but hardware stores seem to be out because everybody's making hand sanitizer.
This Rona's really affecting our retro gaming.
I know.
We can't buy rubbing alcohol.
Yeah.
People are jacking up the prices of retro games too, because they feel like they can ask for the King Midas's gold for it.
And I thought the prices on all these things would drop, honestly. Like, I thought people would be selling off their collections as things got rougher. No, the prices are they've ratcheted up. It doesn't make any sense to me. But nothing makes sense anymore, so.
Well, look at the Switches. Even the Switch Lites, which are still technically available, are still going for at least $40-$50 above asking price.
Well, just go to the dump. You'll find your next Switch sitting at the dump.
Probably will.
Yeah. Speaking of not making sense, the game this month is StarTropics.
Great segue.
Yeah. It was pretty weird, man. Yeah, StarTropics for the NES. And it was my turn to pick. And I picked this game because Matt took my baby, the SNES, for a very solid double feature. I'd first heard about this game through a lot of research when I was trying to figure out who the next Smash Brothers character would be for the Switch. And somebody threw out Mike Jones. And I was wondering, who the hell's Mike Jones?
Jones, bitch.
Mike Jones.
So what I found was a Zelda-like oddball. This game was made in 1990 by Genyo Takeda, who also made Punch-Out!, which I loved. So I was like, oh yeah, this should be good. This was a Western release, which means it was never released in Japan, as far as I know.
No, it was never.
Which is surprising for Nintendo. I don't know how many other games they did that for, but Mr. Takeda was kind of a huge America homeboy, he loved all the cultures. So there's a lot of that thrown in this game. And I feel like they just put it out in the United States because they didn't think it would stick in Japan. So that's kind of a long, a shot in the dark.
Right.
Yeah, because they'd lose a lot of money if it didn't succeed. Yeah, this game feels like a Zelda, but controls like shit.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah. We'll get into that further. Another fun little tidbit. The game's sequel was Zoda's Revenge, and that was the last game solely released on the NES, all the way in 1994.
That's crazy.
Wow. Yeah.
What is that, 2 or 3 years into the Super Nintendo?
Yep. And they were like, last game, Zoda's Revenge. Sorry, not on SNES. Which I feel like would have killed it on the SNES, because there were a lot of these adventure games, that are pretty high up in the charts as far as top games of all time.
I mean, the graphics on this game were pretty solid for NES, especially the sprites. Those sprites were pretty insane, especially for, in gameplay, battle scenes. Those are really good sprites.
One of the things that got me on this one too was remember on Battle Olympus, I was bitching about colors and how early NES games didn't get color. They just looked awful.
Yeah.
This was clearly a late release NES game because the colors they used, they're bright, they pop. It's a great looking game.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they borrowed a few things too. A lot of you might recognize Rob which is your navigator in your submarine in this game.
Yep.
He definitely looks like the Nintendo robot, the peripheral accessory, which I don't even know what it did. Could you hook it up to play?
Rob? Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, so like they came up with Rob because of Atari's fuck ups. Like no one wanted you didn't want to be a video game system. So Rob was kind of like a toy that you plugged into this thing that would let you play stacking games or something else with NES. And it was kind of like their secret way to sneak video games back into people's lives. Like, it's not a video game system, it's a toy, and this is Rob the Robot. So that was kind of Rob's shtick.
Not bad. I feel like this game had a lot of Zelda elements.
Well, you had those octopus that were in this game that resemble the ones from Zelda as well.
Yeah, the Octoroks. They spit stuff at you and jumped out of the water.
Yeah.
And even like the end of the game, it's, you watch that end sequence and it's like, okay, that looks like a Triforce.
Yeah, and the save.
Yep. Yeah.
Like the save menu, the fact that it had like hearts.
3 slots, heart containers. You get more as you go along.
Yeah, I think what got me about this one was like, it seemed like the natural evolution of Zelda if it was to kind of like mutate and go off on its own path. Like it had all those Zelda elements, but it was radically different than Zelda and how it played.
Yeah.
Like Zelda was more action oriented and this was more, I don't want to say puzzle, but I don't know, maybe more strategy. Is that the word I want to use here? It's not like Zelda was like fast and you had a lot of attacking you did. And this you had to be a lot more deliberate than Zelda.
Yeah.
There's a lot of thought behind your attacks or how you're going to take a roam.
And even the controls too, because on this one, when you input a movement, he only faces that way. And then you got to punch again. So it takes you a lot just to get through a dungeon screen. You have to be pretty tight in your sequence because
the jump function's pretty much trash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You couldn't do you can only jump in place. You couldn't jump forward unless you're on like a special on the blocks.
I had a hard time with that. I had a hard time with the fact that like when you're walking, you need to turn directions. It's like the game didn't know what it wanted to be. Like they threw a bunch of bad guys you needed to fight quickly at you and then didn't give you the controls you needed to do it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, okay, are you an action game or are you not an action game? If you're going to be an action game, you got to let me turn a little quicker, I need to be able to approach these guys. I found that really hard. Like the controls for me, it took me at least into the second or third chapter to be like, okay, I think I understand what I'm doing.
Yeah. And we all played this on the Switch.
Yeah.
On the NES Classic bundle that you have on there. And with the Joy-Con, it was tough.
Oh, I didn't.
When you play on the Switch, do you Joy-Con it or do you use the button?
I use the Joy-Con. Yeah.
Yeah, I use the buttons.
I couldn't. It was weird to hold, put my thumb down that far on the left side. So I used the Pro Controller when I'd hook it up to the TV, but mostly it was Joy-Con. So yeah. And that also helped playing on the Switch because of save states and rewind, which,
oh god, yes.
Yeah, I used that profusely. I don't know about you guys.
We cheesed it, guys. Everyone, we cheesed it. We had to. Those
I remember, so like you guys, I think it was the last episode, or maybe it was one of the other ones. I got real uppity with you guys, like, don't save state, don't rewind. That's not how the game is. Like, I get it. Play the game how you want to play it, but come on, play it legit. I got into this thing and I was all cocky. I'm like, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna crush this, and I'm gonna make fun of you losers for save state in the whole game. And then, like, every room I was save stating and reloading. I was just like, I abused. I did not beat this game. I basically abused save states so that I could see the ending.
Yeah.
That was my strategy for. I don't know how people beat this game back in the day.
I'm just hoping. I wonder if the controls were just maybe a little bit better. Maybe just do the port over. Maybe that's what hindered it.
No. This is. They did. I mean, it's faithful. This is what you got back in 1990.
Yeah, they talked about it then too. I've seen some reviews where the controls are a sticking point for a lot of people.
But it has good reviews. Like, I've read the reviews are solid.
Yeah, it's number... What did I find? It's number 64 on the top 100 games of all time by Nintendo Power.
I mean, one, Nintendo Power is just a propaganda wing of Nintendo. but two, I agree. I mean, I bitch about it, but it was a good game.
Yeah.
Like, it had all the makings of it.
Well, I think the music was great. Really solid music through it. Especially when changed, especially due to your enemies. Like, if they clear a room, it'd be a more softer music. Like, okay, I cleared the whole room. The sprites were amazing. I think, again, those were some really good looking sprites. Even the boss at the end was really awesome. Yeah,
John,
Nintendo Life gave it 8 out of 10. Google users give it 95% have liked the game. So,
yeah.
Did you get into much of the story?
Yeah. So, your name is Mike Jones, 281-330-8004 from Houston, Texas. I mean, whoops, that's a identity conflict here, which lets me segue into the fun host game. When someone says who, and if someone can catch it and say Mike Jones, I'll take a shot. And we are referring to the rapper from mid-2000s that was famous for a hook when it would be who, and he would say his name. And so I looked it up because I feel like we'll insert some of that music in this game. And this guy printed his phone number on T-shirts and gave them out to people. So they would call his phone and he would answer it to try to promote himself. So that's his number.
Marketing strategy, actually.
Right? And it's since been discontinued. But yeah, this guy, he used to sell phones before he was a rapper. So yeah, I feel like he used that to his advantage. Our game...
Mike Jones.
Yeah. Our game takes place somewhere in the South Sea between Guam and Tom Hanks' island from Castaway. It is called Sea Island, and you go out to visit your uncle, your doctor uncle, who... Dr. Jones, I mean, it's kind of like, okay, Dr.
Steve
Indiana Jones?
Da, 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 da.
Right?
Da, da, da.
Western culture. So you land, and you find out that he's missing / possibly abducted by aliens. And
Did they
Carlos
actually say aliens in
Santana.
the beginning?
I think they say aliens, yeah.
See, I thought you had to wait a bit to find out that he got abducted by aliens.
Oh, you do?
Like, that was kind of like a secret.
Ah.
I thought he just was like missing at that point.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you have to, when you find his assistant, he tells you he was abducted, right?
Yeah.
All right. So you meet the chief, who looks like Carlos Santana. I think as does every chief, every island person that you talk to with the face-to-face screen. Because, in the top-down view, it's just like little sprite characters. But you get a rendering when you talk to the chief on each little quest you do. And they all have mustaches. They're all somewhat bald. And they all have, like, a shirt that has, like, 6 buttons undone.
Like all Ron Jeremy.
We can make a lot of references to who they look like. But, yeah. So one other fun feature of this game is that you get a letter that is in the manual, and it has a code on it. I don't know of any other game that did something like this, where you have to dip the note in water, and it reveals a hidden code that you have to use. So naturally, us playing like this, we couldn't do it, so we obviously knew from some research that's what you had to do. But yeah, so like if you got this game used, is there ever a manual that hasn't been dipped in water?
So here's the thing, like, it wasn't in a manual, it was its own letter. Like, it was printed separate from the manual.
Okay.
Like, it was a sheet of paper you got in the game. And the writing on the bottom is funny. It was like, don't eat this, don't do something with this. You're going to need this later in the game. Yeah, which is really cool. I don't know if they did that to stop either piracy or the rental market. I'm assuming they did it to stop the rental market, because that was kind of big in the 90s. They did everything they could with that. But maybe not. Maybe they just were being quirky, because you figure this was like an R&D 3 game, and they did a lot of the Nintendo hardware. So they kind of did that it had that quirky feel to it. So maybe they just thought they were being funny with it. I don't know, but either way, what was kind of neat about the letter, or stupid maybe is the way to look at it. So the NES game would give you the letter. You'd have to dip it to find out your code. And I think when this was released on Virtual Console for the Wii or the Wii U, I can't remember which one, the digital manual that you were able to download shows you, what the thing is, or it has a little animation will show you the code as if you were dipping it. But they didn't do that with the Switch. So like if you're going online, you're trying to find like the manual, or you're looking up the manual, whatever, with the Switch, it just has the letter. And it's like, I can't fucking dip a PDF in Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like, how did you know to do this on previous consoles and you fucked it up on the Switch?
Yeah, I guess they assume that everybody looks this stuff up now.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So your uncle's missing, and the chief says you got to go find him, and he gives you a yo-yo. I'm sorry, a star, because
an island star,
right? Copyright infringement, which I didn't know yo-yo was copyrighted, but
yeah,
I didn't either.
They changed it just for the Wii, and whenever they ported it over to any virtual console, they had it changed.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you explore the village, you'll find a little oddity in a barnyard animal that I think has been like a meme for Nintendo for a while, where definitely a pig butthole staring you right in the face.
Oh, right.
And that's clearly it's clearly a butthole, because I know we debated back and forth if was this a butthole, and I zoomed in, and that you can clearly see the tail, and you can clearly see that is a pig butthole.
I'm just wondering, the designer's like, I'm gonna put this little pixel right here, and just leave it in.
They were being realistic.
So you go... Where do you go from here? Dungeon 1, right? Seems pretty easy. What was tough for me here was that you get these side weapons, right? And there's a lot of these throughout the game, but they disappear as soon as you leave the dungeon, which made it hard, I think. And the hearts you lose, there's no stores in this to buy stuff, to buy hearts. And it doesn't replenish automatically when you save. I think the only way it replenishes is if you get another heart container. It'll fill it back up.
I thought if you beat the level, it like deals with your score and raises your life. It doesn't do that?
It raises your score, not your life.
Yeah, you might start off with like the basic start off of hearts, even though you have more heart containers. So the only way I found that you got heart replacements is if you found them after killing an enemy. And those are very hard to come by.
Yeah.
Or if you collected 5 stars, it filled the heart.
That's something I never understood, was the stars, until like later on. Like I couldn't figure out what they actually did.
Yeah, you get 5, they fill up 1 heart container.
Which is ridiculous. Just give me a heart.
Yeah.
When I played this game, I was so hungry for hearts the whole time. Like hits did damage to you.
Yeah.
And it was hard to recover. Like if you took a couple hits in a row, like you were kind of fucked.
And especially if something runs into you, instead of just shoots you, if it runs into you, it took like 3 hearts.
I ran into that with bosses. For some reason, I kept running into bosses and I would die super quick.
Yeah. They'll pancake you. Even jumping in water, it doesn't do 1 heart. It drains you down to a certain point, and then you have to restart the dungeon, I think, right? Or is it just the room?
Well, depending. So, the last chapter for me, I died like way too many times, and it started me at the very beginning of the level, like the very, very beginning.
Yep.
So I think it starts you at the pretty close to the beginning or the last save point, I think.
Yeah. I feel like the first... go ahead.
Yeah, I had a hard time. I think the first dungeon was like the big learning experience for me because when I tackled that one, that's when I started bitching to you guys. Like I just didn't get, I struggled with the controls. I struggled trying to find out where to go in a lot of this. And it may not be the first dungeon. Now I think I'm getting them mixed up, but the game was different. That like Zelda, you had a lot you had to bomb walls.
Yeah.
In this game, I found like you had to sneak through walls that it really wasn't clear you had to do it.
No.
Or like there's a lot of cheap deaths. Like you jump up a rock and you'd go into another room and you drown. And it's like, well, that's cheap. How would I ever know to do that?
Well, there's also like there's no maps or anything in the game as well. So I think that made this game a little bit harder and kind of a pain because it's more trial and error with everything you do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I feel like some of the first two dungeons were pretty similar. They weren't terribly taxing. Decent boss fights.
The boss fights actually weren't the most difficult I found, especially at the very beginning. I felt that it was more just the casual enemies that really kind of screwed you over because you didn't know what their pattern was, and that combined with the very cumbersome controls, it just destroyed me.
So I think the first boss was a snake, right? Weren't we in like the snake cavern?
The sea serpent.
Yeah.
I found that was kind of like that's when I learned the rhythm. I got a feel for the rhythm of how they like a lot of the boss fights went. Like I found I was like constantly jumping because I needed to avoid projectiles. But then like I think when you jump, you can kind of turn direction midair. So like as soon as you land on the block after that, you just start shooting and as quickly as you can until like the other round of projectiles. Like don't stop moving, don't stop shooting. Was kind of my approach.
Yep. Yeah, you definitely lock into a rhythm, and you can shoot after you jump. So like if you jump just to dodge one attack, you can still shoot in midair.
Yeah,
So
I didn't find that out until like later in the game, like halfway through the game. I'm like, oh, this would have been pertinent to use during the other enemies I've had encountered with.
I didn't even know about the potions until like the last dungeon.
Yeah, the menus.
Yeah.
I never realized that you could like scroll up and down on your menus into like a second row.
Not a good menu system.
No,
really
did you
bad.
have to start, press pause the game to use certain menus? Or I know that's the way I did it. Though I did find out like later in the game you can press select and it would select different items. But I know if...
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you could go. That's how you accessed your magic items. I think, what was that? Dungeon 3 was the ghost village?
Oh, God.
Oh, God, that sucked.
Yeah, that was brutal. The boss
I
on the one
actually look
before
online to find out why I was dying in the rooms. Like, there's nothing in here. Why am I dying?
You got to light up the torch, man.
Yep.
So I wasn't playing with music. Like, was there some kind of musical cue that let you knew there were ghosts and you need to do something, or it was just like you just kept dying until you Googled it? Because that was my approach.
Something was just hitting you the entire time, and you were like, "Oh, what is this?" But as soon as you knew to use the torch, you flick the torch, and the ghosts freeze, and you just go and you smack them, and they're dead. But yeah, like Nick said, it's like, what is this? It really sucks. And then you try to make it through, and you're down to like a quarter or a half a heart, and you got to beat some guys, and I got stuck there too.
You know what I found on this? I found that items, and granted, I couldn't figure out how to use the item menu half the time, but I ran into the same old, like the age-old Mega Man problem, where I have a limited number of a certain weapon, so I don't use it.
Yep. Because
I might need it. Like I'm hoarding weapons, which makes the whole thing like completely hard because, you needed to use your weapons in this game, or you needed to use your items. Like they made sure of that.
Yeah, who knows how far you have to go.
Well, sometimes when they give you items, they're specific to either a room in the dungeon. So sometimes it's like, oh, cool, new weapon. I'll just use and abuse it because maybe it's, especially when the first time you got it, I didn't know that they just went away. I thought it was like, okay, this is one of my new weapons. I'll be carrying this through the game. And I'd use and abuse the weapon because I'm like, oh, this is better than the damn yo-yo. And the next thing I know, I'm like, oh, shit.
You ran out.
I ran out, and this would be perfect for this time.
So do you guys remember all the weapons that you got?
First one was a baseball bat, right? Baseball bat, you got a slingshot, you got a ray gun or a zap gun. Then you got also another gun that has lightning bolts that took up 2 squares or 2 pixels.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think there was anything else. And then it upgrades
So
to
they had-
your yo-yo.
So you had like the fire, which I think was the torch.
Yep.
I wrote everything down in my lingo. I don't know what the official things are. You had the bat. You had, it looked like the bolos, the things you throw.
bolos. Those are cool.
Yeah, I used those on the Ghost. Those
Yep.
those seem to beat him pretty well.
There was the mirror, which you had those guys you had to reflect things back at.
Yeah.
The cleats.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're cleats, like the spike shoes that he like flings himself around the room and kicks everything.
Yeah, the super weapon.
He does like I called it the Liu Kang kick. That's what it reminded me
flying through the air, kicking
of.
everybody.
Yeah, flying dragon kicks.
Yep.
Oh, you had a shuriken, like the things you threw, and then like they split off into 2 and went opposite directions.
Oh yeah, I remember those. Those were actually pretty cool. Those helped.
You had to hit the button again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I can't remember what chapter you were in when you had to do those. I didn't write down that type of stuff, but they had some neat puzzles where like, you had to throw the shurikens and like split them at the right time in order to kill a boss around a corner.
Yep.
It was pretty cool. That
Yeah.
was neat. I'm trying to see what else I have in my notes. I wrote down like very vague notes on the chapters.
Yeah.
Like chapter 1, you're in Coracola, and then you're doing the dungeon tunnel and the snake.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. Dungeon 1 and Dungeon 2, they blended together. It was pretty similar. You had to free the dolphin child in Dungeon 2. You had to beat the octopus guy, which was fun. That required a lot of timing. I feel like these ones where they give you a lot of boss fights use those platforms where you deliberately had to jump to one side. So like as soon as you got the rhythm down, it was easy.
I wonder if that came from it being made by the Punch-Out guys. Like Punch-Out's a very rhythmic game. I wonder if that was I mean, I suck at it, and I sucked at this game, so I wonder if, like, the goal was to have you fight these bosses in some kind of rhythm.
Yeah.
It was very rhythmic. Like you would have to jump back and forth. It was all timing and rhythm.
How'd you like the code to submerge your ship?
Oh,
Yeah.
you mean how they're using dates, like specific, like
The 1776, I think, was the code to submerge. Like,
America.
they're really playing in America.
Yep.
And they also went 1492.
Yeah, they're going to have to retcon that out in future releases.
Yeah.
And then...
Third dungeon was the fire. The boss there got me, man. The molten lava place. The guy at the end, he had the 2 little spinning fires and he kept launching stuff at you. But you couldn't hurt anything. You had to go step on one platform near him. So it would make it very quick if you knew what you were doing, but I kept trying to hit him. And like
that...
Yeah, it didn't work.
I spent a lot of time. Like I think 7-year-old version of me would have figured out how to kill that boss a lot quicker than my current
definitely.
self. Which just what's the definition of insanity? Like doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Exactly.
Like I just kept attacking him and kept fucking dying over and over and over.
Who doesn't though?
That's fair.
I ask you. Who doesn't?
Mike Jones.
There you go.
I forgot all about
I
that.
should lead you two into that. All right, here we go.
I was too busy crushing my White Claw.
I just crushed my first beer. I got my second beer.
Oh, yeah. I always drink it on the rocks, so warm out of the bottle.
Ooh.
It's a little different. So
was
after
that?
that molten tunnel, I feel like was the hardest dungeon of the game. The ghost dungeon.
Yeah.
Ghost Dungeon was
Yeah.
definitely a bitch.
They
That's
call them
what-
tunnels in this. They don't call them dungeons. It's tunnels. Because you just go from point A to point B and everything.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I get their approach.
Yep. And this had a lot of puzzles, a lot of hard enemies. It was not easy.
Well, I think what didn't make it easy as well is the fact that
I have a note that I can't read.
why not?
Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
He ghosted us for the fact.
Oh.
Matt ghosted us.
I don't know what that means.
No, you said you had a fact there, Nick.
Oh,
We
I
were
did.
waiting for you to finish that thought.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, we're gonna have to edit a lot of this dumbness out. Yeah, I have a note and it says like Western twine or Western tune. Like, was there something important about it being Western?
I don't know, man.
I can't read my own handwriting. I guess move on. That wasn't worth derailing the entire podcast.
I mean,
for.
so I found the third Ghost Cavern by accident, by the way.
You found it by accident? Are you colorblind?
Well, that actually I am. Along with being blind in one eye. So, fuck you.
Right.
No, I found it by accident. 'Cause I was like, oh, look up for the lake. I'm like, okay. So I'm looking around. I'm like, I don't see no damn orb. Where's this bitch's orb? Then I just
in the bottom of the lake, man.
And I just kept on walking into each friggin' tombstone. I'm like, okay, dum. Oh, found it. Okay, found it. And I kept on coming out because I kept on taking a wrong entrance because instead of going there, I'm like, oh, okay. So
I could see how that would be tough, being colorblind, because it's only like one shade lighter.
Yeah, and that's where my colorblind gets me, is when it's like shades are so close together.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But, yeah, the whole thing, the big bitch of that one was literally the ghost rooms, where I didn't know what to do. Until I looked up, I'm like, why am I dying? What the hell's going on? So I just looked up, like, why die in this, like, chapter 3, in the graveyard, and Google it.
Yep.
Use the damn...
Ghost Tunnel was the beginning of the end for me. Like, that's where I completely threw out playing legitimately, and I went to reading guides extensively and safe stating like a motherfucker. Like, Ghost Tunnel broke me as a gamer. I lost all gamer cred that I ever tried to accumulate in that one.
You had more than us, so I'm glad we're on par.
That's what pissed me off the most. It's like, I like playing hard games. Like, I'm pretty good at hard games, but for something about this thing, like, my brain did not function when I was playing this game.
It's the direction thing, man.
Yeah.
Double tap and stuff. I lost a lot of hearts, so it was good to have that rewind, because I just go back and fix what I did wrong.
So I didn't use rewind until probably the 6th. Yeah, the 6th dungeon. So I died a lot.
I would say you're the most legit gamer out of the three of us, officially.
Yeah. I used it at 3rd dungeon.
Well, I didn't know about it. I'm like, I always actually heard people talk about the rewind function. And I'm like, oh, okay. But I never used it. I didn't know until I Googled, like, rewind for Switch. Oh, press these 2 buttons.
Bam.
Then I used and abused that slut all the way through. Except for, actually, I did not use it in the last chapter. So I used it for 6 and 7.
Oof.
Yeah, it cracks me up because, like, there was this, like, big to-do on Twitter, like, a while back where someone talked about, like, oh, if you use rewind or save states, then you in no way beat that fucking game. And, like, all of Twitter went after this one person. I can't remember who it was, but, like, they went nuts about it. Like, play the game like you want, man. You know, I still beat it. It's like, I can sleep well at night knowing that I cheated like a fucker to get through this. Like, that does not affect me as a person. I can wake up in the morning and, you know, put on my pants like everyone else and know that, like, I fucking sucked at this game and I had to cheese my way to get through it. Does not hurt my feelings 1 ounce.
Yeah, same, dude. I have no shame. Right after the ghost tunnel, there were a couple of these like little segues where you just went through a few screens. No boss fights, just some enemies. Maybe a little puzzle that you didn't have a clue for before. Like, I think on this next one, you had to jump on that switch 10 times, right? Like, you
had to yell.
Yeah, and there's a big divide between you and the door, and you just jump on that, and you're like, okay, it's already pushed. What do? You jump 10 times. But after you go and cross-dress in the all-women in the Amazon village.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Oh, yes. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
What was your name? What name did you use? Michelle, I think it was.
Yep.
Instead
Not far
of
off.
Mike.
Because you're Mike.
Yeah.
Because why? Who?
Mike Jones.
Mike Jones.
There we go. You led me into that one. That was easy. Only take a little swig.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, because you had to go around on the back, right? And you had to talk to, was that like a fortune teller or something?
Yeah.
You had to find the gypsy.
Because the guy recommends, he's like, hey, they won't let you in. You should find this old hag in a back.
Got to go get a crystal ball back from the ocean, the lake.
But this is different though, right? She doesn't like make you cross dress. She turns you into a woman, right? Because like this isn't like Cloud in Final Fantasy VII, where like this, like you legit get turned into a woman to get into this castle.
Yep.
So interesting.
Yeah. So this leads you to Hermit Mountain. Not a bad one. I like this one. Those dead ostriches with the human skull were kind of annoying.
Creepy as
Yep.
all hell. Those are weird.
Yeah.
Those are pretty, like I said, the sprites were really cool on those, but those were like weird. It's like, here's an ostrich with a human skull on it.
Yeah. I like the feel of, like, this reminds me of Zelda. When you go in and there might be a puzzle, there might not. There's different enemies in each one. This game had a lot of different things that you had to do, so that was cool. It used the same elements, but like it modified them each time. And then of course there were a few hidden walls that you could see that you threw your shooting star yo-yo at, but some it was just blind luck, like you couldn't tell what was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the only way I think I told on some, were able to find some was, or the ones you could see were, like, they either had, like, a couple broken lines on the floor that you could see. And that's the only way I was able to tell.
Yeah. Yeah, they did have, like, a little shadow on a couple of them. And they used that a lot in some of these dungeons where you had to go through a wall to another room and then find another path through another wall. Like, actually, in this one, I think the end was you had to get shot out of a geyser on the mountain. But it was through a hidden wall, so you could go around in circles on this, keep beating the same guys, but it would do no good until you could get over to a spot you couldn't see. So then you have to trace back your steps and be like, okay, I think I have to go somewhere in here.
There was no boss on that one, right? That one didn't actually have a boss in that one at all, right? There was no.
No, it just had
boss.
some purple minotaurs at the end where they moved slow, but they took a lot of hits.
The little Yeti-looking beast.
Yep.
Those are pretty cool sprites.
Yeah, and then it had some weird pillars around the sides that didn't do anything.
Didn't you do all of this to wake up that chief's daughter? Like, wasn't that the whole reason why we were in the cemetery and then while we were on the mountain? Or am I mixed up? Because I remember that,
to save the daughter, and she would. Save the daughter, and didn't he also turn your boat back over?
Yeah, your boat gets wrecked. Yeah, and you have to go. He'll help you. I think was that here? Let me see what my notes say.
That's one of the things, like, I'm not calling it, it's not really a complaint, but, like, this stuff happened in the story, and then I instantly forgot about it. Like,
There's a lot of trivial stuff.
I remember the dolphin. I don't remember what the parrot did, and I think we passed by the parrot.
The parrot
and then
gave
I remember
you the code or the melody for...
Oh, that's right. The puzzle with the keyboard.
Yeah, that's after this one.
Is it?
Yeah, you're right.
All
you
right.
get out of this mountain, and you go talk to the hermit, and he gives you the scroll with a spell that cures the banana daughter, because her name's Banana, I think. Banette.
Annette.
And
Banana.
Then another chief that looks like Tom Selleck or Carlos Santana, or just, little love child. Yeah, belly hanging out. And there's like 4 people in each village, and they all go, I like fishing, or I'm 105 years old.
I'm the second oldest person in the Kola Islands.
Yeah. They live a long time.
All cola all the time.
Yep. Pepsi Cola. Or Coca-Cola. Who knows? But Mr. Takeda loved his Western influences.
Props to that dude.
Yeah. So then you get going again, and you get eaten by a whale. And you meet the less than stellar assistant of your uncle. Yep. Yeah, Babu.
Babu. Babu.
He tells you to find his lighter, so you got to go through a maze in the submarine, which was all right. I like that. You have to submerge in certain spots, and you can see the little whirlpool thing. And you go get the lighter, and then the whale sneezes you out.
It's very Pinocchio, if you ask me.
Yep.
Very Pinocchio.
Yep. Another Western reference. I love that the fish skeletons are blocking you. You know, this one took me a while because I'd go down the wrong path and I'd be like, oh shit. Backtrack. Another fish skeleton. Just tricky. The next part I got stuck on because I did not know that there was another path. Like, you know, on the overworld, you can go through and it doesn't show you anything, but like if you go through a certain part of the rocks, it just opens up like a little tunnel, that you walk through, still in the overworld. But on this one, there was another double down thing. Right? Did you guys, you know what I'm talking about? You had to go through, it wasn't visible to you.
Like, oh, yeah, I know what you're talking
through
about.
The mountains, when you're going through like the rock.
Yeah.
The only hint you had was that woman. That's like, there's a hidden path somewhere. Try everywhere.
Yep. And then you have to play on the keyboard to open the sunken ship cave.
That's when we did this. Okay.
Yep. The bird gives you the hint. Yeah. Peter the parrot. Do me so far, do me. And it's like, oh, what does that be? What would that be? And then it's do me so far, do me. And then so you have to know your scales, which there were a lot of tough puzzles in some of the NES games.
Yeah, I ended up looking that one up.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's going on?
I got the scale concept figured out. I just kept fucking it up. Like I just over and over, I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
It's only 5. You only have to enter in like 5 things. I don't know why I kept messing it up.
Yeah. I didn't have the sound on, so I couldn't tell.
When I looked it up, I'm like, oh, okay, it's this. Like, okay. I'm like, wait a minute, are they counting the black keys or not?
No.
That's why I kept on screwing up, because they kept on counting the black keys as a key.
Oh. What'd you guys think of this dungeon?
I don't remember. What was this dungeon? I can't remember what you actually did in it.
It had a lot of booby traps. Like those arrows that shot at you, the crumbling tiles, and the fucking bowling balls.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
I kind of like this one. I don't know
Indiana
why.
Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's actually
no boss. Yeah, no boss.
This one is when I think when I got to this cavern or cave or tunnel, whatever the hell it is, that's when I started to get my groove of this game. Like I figured out, I understood how the controls work, and I actually was like doing what I needed to do. No boss in this dungeon. Seemed pretty straightforward. I liked it. A lot of booby traps. Those guys at the end that shot the projectiles at you were fun because you got that mirror weapon. Yeah, that was cool.
Yep. Yeah, then you had to drain the levee or the dam because the ship was blocking the rest of the way. So got out of there.
It was clicking.
Oh, is it picking it up?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, quit clicking your fucking mouse.
How can you hear that?
Do you know how much work that we're going right back to the Battle of Olympus rant again? Like
Clicking
I'm gonna have you like grab your ass and sit on it and not touch anything.
So you don't slap your hands everywhere?
Yeah, stop clicking shit.
All right.
Continue.
Yeah. Okay. Next dungeon was... What was the next dungeon? The caverns, right? What do we got?
Yeah, so I think... Is this when you had to do the signal? You had to like move your ship and try to like pinpoint the exact space of the signal?
I didn't know what that meant. Like, I was like, oh, okay, coordinates. That'll be something later, so I just kept driving around.
No, it's actually telling you how far you should go up and to the right, typically.
Yeah.
So that thing kept popping up and telling you coordinates. And you're just like, Jesus, fuck, go away.
Yep. and then I realized,
like 4 hours earlier.
Yeah. I realized what it was doing in the end. I was like, oh, yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
Nice.
Yep. This was a decent dungeon. I think there was like a boss halfway through. A little snail guy. This is where you get that long jump with the wing boots.
Oh, so glorious. That's always needed. I wish you kept that one.
came in. Yeah. This was pretty uneventful. This was all right. You had to beat a lot of mummies. That took me a minute.
Ooh, those guys,
those
guys
cool.
had a lot of HP.
Yep, and they would follow you too, so you couldn't let it stack up.
Nope.
Otherwise, they'd smother you.
I was mashing that A button like a mofo.
Yeah, you can slow guys down if you mash the A button with your yo-yo. They seem to stop pretty much, especially these guys.
I thought I missed a power up because I whenever I was like fighting enemies, I felt like I had to like hit them a bazillion times. Like I felt underpowered the whole time.
Yeah.
Underpowered and not much life.
Yep.
Lose hearts fast. You don't get them back, especially if you don't use the potions.
Don't know they exist.
Nope. Although I don't feel like they were all that common, so I don't feel terrible. And I'm guessing they disappeared. Yeah. They just go dungeon to dungeon just like you did. I stand corrected. The boss here was that face. It was easy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that boss was cool.
Yep. It was pretty simple.
It looked like the Easter Island face.
Yep.
We had to use I used the bouncy ball. That's the other one you didn't say, Matt. You get like a ball.
Baseball?
I think it's like a baseball or a bouncy ball. I can't remember.
It's a baseball because Mike Jones is a star pitcher.
Oh yeah, he's a star pitcher from. Who, John? He's a.
You got to say who
Seattle.
first, but I'll let it slide.
I've been crushing White Claws. I can't. There's no laws.
What flavor, Matt?
I have raspberry and tangerine.
Oh.
I can bring some White Claws to the cookout this weekend.
No, this is a one-time thing. I saved these specifically for this one. I'm back on the beer or the hard stuff after that. Next week, I'm going to really fucking need it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Another dungeon. Similar. Decent puzzles. What was anything memorable in this one?
Then you finally see him. Your uncle.
Yep. You get to meet your uncle after all that time.
Yeah, so I didn't get that. Like, he was abducted by aliens, but was he really abducted? Or was he just in this tunnel?
He's just chilling there.
I don't remember how that worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I thought... I expected him... correct me on this, but he wasn't in the spaceship. Like, how many people do you know get abducted by aliens and then not be in the spaceship? Like, what was he doing there?
Yeah.
Maybe he escaped when they're getting the probe all lubed up and ready.
You would take it there. Jesus.
That seems like the appropriate Nintendo plot.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. Was there like halfway through? Was he there? I feel like there was a bunch of sectors to this.
Let's see. I'm trying to remember it as well.
I feel like you get out of it and there's like the crashed spaceship that has the code on it or the little cipher. I don't remember a lot of the story on this one. I'm like you, Matt. You know, the story kind of escaped me.
It just seemed like details. Like, I have a hard time paying attention to details in games where it matters. So this one, the details didn't matter, and I'm struggling even harder.
Yeah,
because chapter 6, you meet your uncle at the end, and then he's like, "Hey, you need to find this." And part of chapter 7 is majority of chapter 7. You have to find the cubes.
Yeah, so he was not abducted at the time you found him. So Nick, your theory holds true.
It's solid, rock solid.
Like, yeah.
That spaceship was tough, dude.
Yeah, that was something. That's when we went. I don't know about you guys. Like, I went into full save state mode.
Oh yeah.
Like, I just every second, every boss, every bad guy that came near me, it's like, no, I'm not gonna take the 4 or 5 hit, heart hit off that guy. We're gonna start that one again.
Those like flying biker guys messed me up.
Oh.
They would just continuously drop down and track you.
You had to use the cleats on them, I think. I think that's what I ended up doing, but you had to find the cleats in order to get by them.
Yeah, the cleats were tough to find.
I dodged them so much.
Yeah.
I kept on dodging and they're like, nope. Just keep on going until I get to the next area.
Yeah. The cleat, and you only had 10 cleats, so. The one part that I got stuck on real bad was where you get the long jump shoes, and they're the two, like, floating fat guys, where they have, like, double cannons, and they both...
Oh, those are the one of the boss fights, I think, right?
That was like a mini boss, I feel.
Yeah,
twin.
Yeah. Like, they had twin jetpacks, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those weren't too bad. I didn't have I had a problem with them, but I didn't have as much of a problem with them as I did everything else.
Well, what made them difficult is mostly because they had like also have like things that were shooting at you as well.
There was a little
one little cannon. So I ended up focusing on that little cannon first, getting that destroyed, and then focusing on one of the jetpack guys, and just destroying them one by one because that was the only way I was going to beat that.
Yep. Yeah, that was a little tricky. I like the puzzles in this one. What was that one where you had to jump? The spaces turned red. They would torch you, and you had 3 paths. Towards the end, you had to jump from a different one. Yep. And then right after that was the boss fight. The walker guy looked like a praying mantis.
I don't remember any of this.
Yeah, the praying mantis dude. But the way to beat him was. Matt, you probably shot him a lot. I'm sure you had to run up, hit the shoot button. You had to hit the switch, and then run back and hit the other switch, and you broke off the end of the pipe, and you kept on shooting him until he fell back.
Shoot him in the water,
and he just fell backwards. Yep. Yeah, it was right before the giant maze that was annoying.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yep, I got you.
Yep. So I like that the little 3-segment thing where you had to time your jumps. That was probably the toughest puzzle for me. And then, on to the last level for Mike Jones. Man, you're getting me a lot. This is a lot worse than Matt's ranting with gin.
I tried to calm down. I think next time we all bring hard stuff, and if any of us complain, we have to do it.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds like a more tried and true.
That's going to be one heck of an ending.
It's okay, man. My tolerance is sky high because it's quarantine, so I don't do anything else.
Mine's not too
drinking
bad,
up.
But I haven't been drinking much.
Yeah,
can't afford to.
None. You got to make cheap like prison shit in the toilet.
Do my
start making some jungle juice,
Everclear and Gatorade and Sprite. That was rough. I used to drink that. I used to put it in an Nalgene and drink that.
I don't know. Maybe I should go make the one I made for our float trip we did last summer.
You look like a Smurf, dude. You were all blue. Yeah, this last dungeon was daunting.
Oh, chapter 8.
I did not have an easy time.
Nope, not good at all.
You start off with 3 friggin' hearts, dude, and you have to fight Zoda like as his giant form with 2 hands and a floating face.
A floating skull like that shot his eyeballs at you after you hit him so many times.
Reminiscent of what's his name? Andros, man, on the 3rd route in Star Fox 1, the floating demon head.
They were inspired.
Yeah.
I don't know. I had an easier time with this. I mostly stayed out of the way because the hands, I remember being a problem. I would get cocky and I'd get right up in his face and the hands would smoke me.
Yep.
And I found if I just stayed back, they really wouldn't get me all that much. You just have to move a little bit here and there, but stay out of the way.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
He wasn't too bad. That was kind of like a false sense of security for me. Like I was feeling pretty good after that guy, and then shit just went downhill fast.
Yeah. Did you drop down
so many times
into that room?
I had to keep, and I was abusing that. I'm like, nope, I don't have enough juice to get through this. He's going to smoke me. Drop down, get the pill, come back up.
Yeah. And then you have to clear the room of those guys, too, which wasn't easy.
I never cleared that room at all.
You just got the pill and
dodged
ran?
someone and just got out.
Well, you could go up and get the powerful zap gun, too. Like, there was that secret room.
Yeah, I did that, but I kept on, like, I fell down that room so many times. And I still, by the time I finished and did the whole thing, I still had like 6 hearts when I started that every time.
It's a tough ask, man. You know,
I found I fell down into that room when I wanted to, and I also fell down in that room when I didn't want to. Like, I'd just be hammering on the buttons, and I would find, like, you fought, like, this, like, core chamber boss thing, and there was, like, 2 squares that had, like, holes where you could jump down.
Yep.
And, like, I would get that guy pretty close to being, like, dead or whatnot, and then I would do something stupid, like jump down the hole. It's like, oh, fuck. And I have to go get the pill and go back up.
Yeah, because there's only one other square you could stand on without those things that popped out of the ground and tracked you.
Oh, it was awful.
Yeah.
That thing was a bitch.
This was tough.
That was a real bitch.
What is it with the NES and difficult games? Are we just soft now?
You know, I think
soft.
that's the case.
Yeah.
I think we're just spoiled.
Yep. I found the boss fight not as terrible as this level.
Yeah. Well, you just outgunned. Like, you shot them and it did 1 damage. They shot you and it took you down a peg or 2.
Yeah.
Like, you really...
So I had to grind that boss battle because I
had 2 hearts. Yeah.
I had like 2 hearts by the time I finally got in there. And I'm like, well, this sucks. So I had to kept on laying... what is his name?
Zoda.
I don't want to say Zardon or Zordon.
Zardon!
Power Rangers. He was like a cross of the alien / a dinosaur. The dinosaur had a horn.
He looked pretty funky.
And it wasn't like he was difficult at all because you could easily keep a whole screen. So I just kept on mining hearts and stars from those little squid things that he kept on spitting out.
Yeah, he threw you a bone dropping those guys.
So I did that until he kept on getting me to... I don't think I even had the full... I didn't have the superstar. I think I had like the regular shooting star where it shot like maybe 4 squares over. But once I got that, I was racked up some more hearts, and then I got cocky and I found his rhythm, and I just kept on attacking him to the point where I didn't know I defeated him, and I went off screen. I'm like, why is nothing coming towards me? And I turned up the volume, like, oh, I killed him. Because that's something else I thought was weird is it wasn't like an instant after something happened. It took like a minute or 2 for it to like, hey, you did it.
Yeah.
That boss fight made me realize how stupid I am because I kept I would hammer on him and I would do some damage. I'm like, okay, I'm getting in a good rhythm. And then he would do like that jump maneuver. And I don't know what it was with my brain. I don't know. I was watching the Unabomber documentary while playing it, so maybe that was the problem. But he would jump at me and it's like, I'm coming at you, buddy. I'm coming at you. And then I'd hit him, and then he would just drain all my health, and I'd die. I'm like, oh, that's fucking stupid. Why would I do that?
Yeah, as soon as he touches you, you're dead.
You're dead.
Yep.
Yeah,
you are dead.
Death.
Yeah, to keep your distance. Yeah, that was pretty anticlimactic. He didn't have a very striking, memorable death scene.
No.
And then the final area, after you defeat him, you go up, and every 5 squares, it tells you you don't have any fucking time left. But magically, you seem to have time left to get to that cube. Right? How many times did it tell you, you're out of time?
I wish I would have just sat there and just see if it actually does something. I
recorded.
Does it legit run out of time on you and kill you? Okay, you've been sitting here for 3 minutes. This should take you a minute tops to get through this little windy maze.
Nothing. So,
Nope.
Yep. Then you get the 3rd piece of the Triforce, the cube, and you unite them with your uncle, and massive, shocking spoiler, you release the Argonian children who had hid themselves in there. Very strange. I love that. I love that end sequence though, because they talk about eating banana pie, and there's one kid that's staring off into space like he didn't get his brain.
He was part of the cube that got dropped a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the last of the children, right?
Yep.
That's the last of their race.
The entire society.
So So you got the entire society, and there's 7 kids. One of them's obsessed with banana cream pie, and one of them is just doofy as hell, just staring off into space. Just no fucking clue what's going on.
Yep.
But he's
That's
happy.
like- yeah.
He means well. He's got a good personality.
That's it. He'll have his own island where all they eat is coconuts.
Yeah, the story, I get it. It's NES. I mean, you don't have got so much space on a cart. And they did a lot of fun stuff in the game. Like, they would throw in all this, like, American references. But for the story, just, I don't know what it was. It didn't do anything for me. Like, I got to the end, it's just like, I don't fucking care. I don't care they came out of the cubes. Like, it doesn't, it's just one more thing that doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was kind of like an add-on too, because you didn't really know about them until like the end when your uncle told you. So the majority of the game is you had to find your uncle. So it took you 6 chapters to find find your uncle, and then he's like, "Hey, this is what was inscribed. This is what happened. This is what you need to do." So you didn't have any time to really care about them because you literally the 6 chapters by the time you told them or you're told about it, and then you have the 7th chapter, and then you have the 8th chapter, which is more or less just a walkthrough until the boss fight.
So, Nick, get your tinfoil hat out, okay?
Oh God!
Throwing this theory out at you. I thought of this when I was playing this game, like all these Dr. Jones references, and that ends with aliens.
No.
It's the Crystal Skull. It's the 4th movie we don't speak of.
Oh
like
my
maybe
God.
Lucas and Spielberg like sat down one day and like, you know what? We're gonna ruin a franchise. We're gonna play StarTropics, and that's gonna be our inspiration.
So
Hear me
your
out on
theory
that.
is that Indiana Jones 4, 5, five,
No,
4
Wow.
is based off of StarTropics purely.
StarTropics had a better story. Is my argument.
Yeah, it did. Yep.
You didn't like get shot in the air in a fridge because of a nuke. You didn't survive a nuke because of a fridge.
You've been bitching about that for like 10 years. It's great. I love it.
It's consistent. I will never not.
Yeah.
Like,
Pretty wild.
So
Not and to also say like this game would make a good movie.
I would like to see this.
There's a
thing
lot
be
of
made.
room to be put in for a story.
You could make a hour and 15-minute movie out of this, and it would appeal to a lot of kids. You know, like make it some cartoony type thing. It'd be fun. I'd watch it.
All right, then you know what you need to do, John? You need to write the script, and you need to take it to the big studios.
All right. Carlos Santana will play every island chief. That's my one stipulation.
I want you to be like, you can cast whoever you want as Mike Jones. Just make sure you do a good job casting the doofy kid and then the banana cream pie girl.
I feel like you guys remember Galaxy Quest? The movie?
Yeah, Tim.
Yes.
Tim Allen.
Yeah.
I feel like the kids that you free from the cubes are like the alien race that they save. You know, that try to blend in as humans.
It would have been helpful to play the second one because I wonder if the second one does anything with those with anything that you did.
What was the second one released? It was released on NES too, right?
Yeah. Zoda's Revenge.
I wonder if they'll,
Apparently it was harder.
release it.
Yeah.
I heard it fixed the controls. Like it made some things better, but like when enemies ran into you, you didn't have like a period of invincibility. You just kept getting fucked. So that's no good. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like the doofy kid should have played a bigger role.
Yep. I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
If we're gonna
I like this
if we're gonna put this movie put the movie based on who's directing it.
J.J. Abrams. He's done a good job wrecking other things lately. So let's let him tackle
Yeah,
this.
that's true.
Ouch. Burn.
That's not wrong.
Ooh.
you think, guys?
I mean, I actually liked it. Besides the fact the story was kind of on the weak side, and I think the one thing that would really benefit this game would be like a map of some sort. Because some of the caverns or tunnels, I found myself going into circles with, just because I didn't know what to do or where I'd have to go next. So, I mean, other than that, those my really only and controls. Those controls are brutal, but I'd still say it was a solid. I'd give it a solid 7 out of 10.
Spell Ryland too.
Yeah. My problem with this game, it could have been a very, very, very good game. They put things in the way of me enjoying it. You know, if they had just done something with the controls, and it didn't have to be much. Like, I'm okay with stiff controls. I like Castlevania, so I'm not a stranger to stiff controls, but just it was way too stiff. You know, if I had a little bit better movement, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more. And the menus, like, for some reason, it felt, I don't know, it had a ton of good ideas. Just if they had given it like another week's worth of polish, it could have gotten where I want it to be. You know, make the menus make sense, so I'm not like going through half the game not realizing how to use stuff, and then make my character move a little better. Because everything else in the game is like, the music is catchy, the music is pretty cool, the colors are great, the sprite work's great, like. They had a lot to work with the story. I mean, I know the story was kind of, you know, it wasn't the most, you know, rapturing story, but it was, you could do a lot with it. I mean, you're in the tropical islands and your uncle's captured by aliens and you get eaten by a whale. Like, it's quirky enough. It kept my interest.
Yeah, I like the quirky games. I'll play the sequel if I can find it.
I was just researching it. It looks like it came out on Virtual Console for the Wii and the Wii U, so I'm sure there's a good chance it's going to probably come to the Switch in time.
I am continually let down by the Switch's online service. Yeah,
it's not great. It's for playing Smash Brothers.
There should be no, at this point, you should be able to either, you know, maybe they'll throw in the game of the month and you can play for free, but why can't I just buy it and then you just carry it on an account forever?
Yeah.
Like, why do I have to wait for you to drip feed Zoda's Revenge? Like, why am I going to get that? We'll get Zoda's Revenge, you know, when the Switch is almost dead. And then they'll start up a new console and we'll start from, like, square one. Like, here you go. You get Mario 1, 2, and 3, and next month we might give you Metroid. Like, that's Nintendo's MO, and I fucking hate it.
I've spent,
it's pretty cheap. I mean, I will say, because I've played the other consoles, the newer consoles, through pretty much their whole life. And the fact that it's only $25 for a year is not that bad, to be honest. I mean, for PS4 and for the Xbox One, you had to pay $60. And the PS4 just added on the... Well, I mean, it had it for a little bit, but it wasn't immediate for the PS Plus game of the 2 games a month that you got for free. Oh, see, so you don't... So I thought the $60 a month on PlayStation, because I don't have a PlayStation, I don't know, but $60
I thought
a year.
But do you get access to all the PS Plus games, or is that $60 just like the base? You get nothing but online.
$60 you get online play with games, so multiplayer games, and you get, depending on the month, you'll get like a couple choices of game. You get like 2 choices. So, for example, the month of June, you got Battlefront 2. And I think it was... what was the other one? I think it was like a Call of Duty game. Those are 2 games you got for free.
Yeah, so I guess for $20, you're getting a pretty good deal. But man, it just pisses me off that if I could have certain games on the Wii, I shouldn't be waiting for them on the Switch. They should just be there.
Yeah, we put in a decent amount on that Wii Virtual Console. I think I probably sunk $100-something.
Oh, guarantee it. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be nice.
That's when I went legit.
Yeah, I remember beating Mario, Zelda, and Mario Kart 64 all on the Switch again, and then they're just sitting there like, okay, got to fire that up. Well, guys, yeah, it's been fun. I think this was a good game.
Good game, guys. GG.
Yeah, good game. I just wish I remembered more of it.
Yeah. Underwhelming story, fun dungeons, terrible controls.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
brutal.
Yep. So on next month's episode,
It's my turn. My pick is next week, right?
Nick, you're not going to be friends with us after this.
What?
This is going to be a rough one. This is going to be...
Matt, I thought you said you were proud of me for this.
I am. I'm happy you picked it.
Ugh.
However, it's not for the reasons that you think.
Matt, come on.
I mean,
it's
going to be awful. It's going to be very awful, and I'm going to drink a lot.
So, next game of the week is going to be ever loved, greatest game ever, Crystal Warriors. It was exclusive for Sega, and specifically exclusive for the Sega Game Gear. So, trying to tackle and get a nice retro game for all the consoles. I'm like, let's go Game Gear. Let's find something that wasn't a port. And I landed on this after doing some research because I wanted an RPG. And I cannot wait for you guys to play this.
So research so far, the game has no story.
No. But the cover looks amazing, guys. So the cover alone,
that's what you base it on.
I mean, cover alone, it reminds me of what was that movie, the Beastmaster movie covers.
Oh my god!
Yeah. So get ready.
If you die before us, I'm gonna put "Here lies Nick. He liked Sega. Why?" On your tombstone. What's going on,
man? I'm keeping Sega alive. Keeping them alive.
So for the listeners, Matt and I are diehard Nintendo guys, and Nick is a Sega guy. So there's a theme throughout all of these podcasts, and it's just us versus Nick on like why. Why does he like Sega better?
Why do you guys like taking the plumber's pipe so much?
What? What? Nick. So far, when we go through the games, like including our lost episodes, right? We had a Sonic one that John was real pissed about. We did it twice. John did not like it either time.
Nope.
What else did Nick make us? Pokemon Crystal, which I think killed the podcast. And now we have this. We have Crystal Warriors for the Game Gear.
Yeah. Nick, Castlevania was good. That was a good pick. I applaud you for that.
Yeah.
Fucking Sega, though, man. Come on.
I think I need to find one for Sega CD next.
Hey, we're in need of an RPG, Lunar, whatever the hell it is. All right, I could get on board with that.
Yeah. I played 5 minutes of this game, and...
Preview. Give us a preview, John.
Dude, I can't. It reminds me of like second grade and playing shitty DOS games.
Wait.
Yes.
Should we include a DOS game in one of our future episodes?
Oh, I got one, man. I still have the CD. I got this CD Mega 80 pack, and there are a couple games on there that are wicked fun. So we're gonna play one.
Nice.
I was gonna make you guys play Diablo 2. That's not DOS, but what else was DOS that was really cool?
Those games like Manic Mountain or Mystery Magic Mountain. You remember those?
Oh fuck! We're not gonna play the things where you run up and you're like you're tackling elves and stuff.
Oregon Trail.
Puzzles. You're not making me play that fucking thing.
I love those games, dude. No, I won't make you play that.
How about Oregon Trail? Come on, guys.
No. Maybe. I don't know.
I'm naming I'm naming everyone after you guys, and one of you guys are getting dysentery, and we'll die.
Hunt. You killed all the bison in the area. I don't care. Fuck it. Hunt.
You gathered over 4,000 pounds of meat. You can only carry 100 pounds.
Carry it in your fucking shitty cart. Sweet game, guys. Good week. Good month.
Well, there.
Good episodes. I'm gonna go bang my wife now.
That's staying in.
All right, gents.
Cue the exit music.